nowadays they tend to lie a lot, and you find if someone has a series of lie, and I feel like the story is not adding up, actually I usually fire you. If you break a rule, I fire you. But then nowadays, I'm not even. I am okay having a nanny even for 2 weeks, 1 week, 2 days, whatever. How many days? Even the same day, I can fire the person, because I feel like you need to fire until you get the person that you want. Hello, guys. Welcome to my YouTube channel. For those who are new here, I am Stella Muyoka, and I focus more on just talking about stories, issues, happiness that surrounds, motherhood, the journey itself. When you're beginning the journey, or either you are, already started the journey. It's just a space for you where we can talk about these things without, feeling any guilt or shame about the issues we go through, and also the situations we are in. And today I would like to touch a topic, and this is because I just had an experience, and I feel like it's good for us, mom, to talk about this. It's a topic that has been talked about for over and over again, but I feel like we have different experiences, and they turn us out differently. And I've been getting questions on. I've been getting inquiries on just how to the questions you like to just ask, like your nannies, to be able to get to know your nanny. So today we're going to cover the topic of nanny, and I feel gracious enough to talk about this because I just, like the other day, I had to let go of my nanny because of some issues that I couldn't just give a blind eye to. And it's a journey that is a bit stressful because you rarely, like, getting a person who cares for your child the way you care for your child is a bit hard. It's very rare to get. For my case, I've only been able to in all the 5 years I've parented my child, I've only actually had one, let's say one very good nanny, and then one who tried a bit. I will rate her as number 2, but the rest were just, I don't know. The rest were, it's like they were just surviving. It's like a phase for them to just survive and grow their life. And I feel like when they're trying to survive, they don't actually cater to your household and your child the way you require. So today we're just going to look at how to know your nanny, the best way to know your nanny. And I'm going to I've actually structured the questions differently so that you can understand which questions to ask and which one actually which one feels like you can ask your nannies. But also I feel like you can just find a way of how you can be able to go about the question, not specifically how I say it, but you can find a way of restructuring them when you're asking your nanny to just get to know about them. And the first thing you need to look at is background and experience. And when you're looking at background and experience, you need to know, you need to have an understanding. As you're beginning, yes, first you're going to ask them their name, their age. These are very key things: their name, their age, and then now you come to the experience they've had working as a nanny. Not necessarily them working as a nanny. And based on the ages of kids you also have to just know if they have had an interaction with that set of kids, whether your child is a newborn baby and all that. And I say you let them know that your child is newborn, let them know your child is 2 years old during that experience that you have, and you ask the questions about that. So this basically gives you an overview to know whether or not you have to teach this nanny how to do their job, or is someone who's going to be easy to, blend in with your system. And also, as I'd mentioned, the ages of kids they've worked with is very important because depending on the ages they've handled, you can tell whether or not actually they're going to be able to handle your kids, depending on the age they have. And then, I know this has not been normalized much in Kenya, and but I've seen videos coming in and teaching them. It's also good for them to know, for you to know whether or not they can handle, first aid, the CPR, all that. In case of an accident, what they can be able to do. You can ask these questions to just have an understanding on how they can handle the situation, whether they're trained or not. And if they're not trained, you as a mom need to actually give them when that is, if you've employed them, to give them the specific things to look at in case of an accident or all that. If a child falls, what are you supposed to look at? All those kind of things. Because I know Sometimes most actually don't, because they fear being fired instead of actually helping the child. So you also have to let them know that in case of an accident, just know this and this and this and this, it's going to be okay, but I just need to know my child is okay. It doesn't mean I'm going to fire you. It gives them that the openness to actually to come to you in case of an accident, because we've seen cases where maybe a child was dropped by a nanny and they ended up having cerebral palsy because maybe they broke the backbone, or maybe a broken bone, infection, or maybe having to lose a leg or an arm because of things that could have been prevented. One key thing is also you need to understand why they became a nanny. You don't ask them necessarily why they became a nanny. You just find a way to go around that question. You'll always find a way. And based on this answer, we'll tell you whether or not you got someone who's good to be a nanny, or you got someone who's surviving to just pay to take care of the family back at home, or take care of themselves, or take them back to school. And I find that during this is where you can tell whether you're going to get a good or a bad nanny with just this question. It will tell you, because you know the reason behind it, and you will know whether or not they're going to stay with you for a long period of time or a short period of time. It will tell you a lot about them, because I say you need to listen, allow them to talk, so that you can gather whatever they're telling you and make the decision of whether or not they're going to work best for you or not. And when you look at childcare approaches, this is how they relate with your child, how they relate with any child, not basically you. And every parent has a different parenting style, where she might have come from, or where she had worked before. Maybe she would have been allowed to, I know I mentioned this a lot, but she was allowed to cane the kids, but maybe in your setting, you don't want that kind of. So you need to also understand. So you can ask questions like, how do they, especially tantrums, you really need to know how gracious your nanny is or patient when it comes to handling tantrums. You can ask them questions like, if you're with my 2-year-old and my child has been crying excessively for 1 hour, what are you going to do in such a scenario? I feel like you need to ask these questions. Most of us just, ask the name, the age, and we say, well, and we also don't do the training for them. So you need to understand how they can handle a tantrum, especially if you have toddlers, babies below 5 years. This is a very key question to ask. And you also need to know what activities has she engaged with the kids? Like, do they ride bikes? To just give you a bare idea of how she's going to blend within your schedule and your baby's schedule. And also, you need to be open with them about your routines, how your routines are, the rules you have in your house, to just see whether or not they're going to blend, or they feel if you see that they feel if you feel like they feel like this is not going to work for. This is the way they usually just answer your questions, and this one doesn't work for me. And I realize when I ask these questions, if a nanny complained to the person that she to your bureau that I have asked her a lot of questions, I don't take that. I will never take, because most don't understand that you need to learn more about them before you actually bring them into your house, because this is your sacred space. And when you look at also logistics and availability, it's very key. I've had both in-stay nannies and also day bags. And while I was in Mombasa, I had I think I had one stay in nanny, and the rest of the years I just had day bags. You come in the morning, you leave in the evening. Because I really didn't want people within my space. It's a bit of a hard thing to actually accept and know that you need this help and you need this person in your house and all that. But when I relocated to Nairobi, I don't have a choice, because Nairobi is a bit crazy. So I had to bring in a stay-in nanny. But during that period also, I was looking for actually day bags. And I looked at the timing. When Nairobi is a bit unpredictable. When you're coming out of work, you don't know what time you're going to get to the house and all that. So I really didn't want to inconvenience someone with a child. Actually, maybe I'll be coming home at 8, and they have to go back to the house and cook. I feel like Nairobi doesn't allow that environment well, unless that person lives closer to you. So you need them to know. They need to know your timeline. Are they available at this time and this hour? What time do they need to rest? All that logistics they need to know. If they're a day back, what time are they comfortable coming in and leaving? You need to get that information to see whether or not they're going to actually fit within the schedule that you have. And then also on the aspect of availability. You have nannies. I know we've all experienced this. A nanny will wake up and they decide to kill one of their relatives back at home, their aunties, their grandparents, or whoever it is, so that they can get a leave to go home for 3 days. But I grew up with my mom. And when I was growing up with my mom, we had a lot of nannies. Actually, grew up with nannies all our life, even up to campus. But my mom was very gracious to the nannies in our household, and I had the same idea of being nice to them. If you're nice to them, they're going to be nice to you. But when you have them in your house, you get a shocker. And because of this, I developed a rule where normally I can get a day back for maybe 1,000 bob a day or 700, depending. I allow someone to say how much they want for the day when they're coming in. So if you're leaving say it's a weekday, because I allow my nannies Saturday and Sunday. I never mind actually someone not being in my house on Saturday. So I give them the allowance for an extra Saturday. They can either leave my house Saturday midday to Monday early in the morning, but I stopped the Monday idea. Nowadays, I do like Sunday evening by like 6 p.m. You should be in the house, depending whatever activities you have. You should be in the house, because I wouldn't want to wake up Monday morning and we are waiting for you to come home and do all those things. So I usually tell them this when we start out. If you want to go for leave, if you want to go, whatever situation you have, I'm sorry, but I don't care whether it's a burial. I know people need to be gracious, but people need to be gracious. For me, if you're leaving for 3 days, make these 3 days, the amount of money I'm going to pay this person, I will deduct from your salary, and I go by that. And this is something I tell them from the beginning. So it also cuts down on people just, someone waking up and leaving and coming back after 3 days, because I've experienced this. So I realized that I need to put up this rule for them. And also they need to tell you in advance, not just today morning I have to, unless you want to go, you want to leave. And also when it comes to leaving work, I like you giving me, I like being given, you tell me like you're going to leave in a week or in 2 weeks. I like to know when you're leaving. But the issues with nannies also, when they know they're leaving, they become very vile. So I think in such a scenario, it's going to be dependent on the kind of situation you're in. So when you look at also emergencies and judgments, when your child is sick, can they handle? When your child has a fever, such kind of scenarios, emergencies, when your child has a burn, what are they supposed to do? You ask these questions to understand the level of the capacity of them to think and act when it comes to your child, because this is a person who's going to be handling your child after you, at home without you. And they need to know that in case of emergencies, you're the first person they're supposed to call, or and they're supposed to call to get guidance with emergencies, or can they know how best to handle such situations. And also when you look at we also have to look at how can they cook, can they clean, can they do all this, because they will tell you they know how to do it, but when you bring them in your house, it's a different story. Because the previous nanny I just fired, this girl could work, but she was so lazy. And she would just talk about I'm tired, until I got tired also, and I decided to just let her go. So one key thing is about traceability of your nanny, because you need to trust. This is someone you have to trust, because they are in your house before hiring them into your home. And I think we should start taking good conduct. I feel like it's something we can pay. You can pay 1,000 bob and your nanny can go get a good conduct, because I feel like there've been a lot of increasing cases of nannies actually hurting kids. And it's good that we can get a record of them, whether they've been if they have for those naming the good conduct. I think it's something we need to cultivate as a culture for us. So first thing, you need to have a copy of the ID to validate, is this the person that is saying, am I Stella Muyoka? I have to give you my ID that says Stella Muyoka. Is this the face that I see here? And they have to provide you with the next of kin. When it comes to hiring a nanny, I never like hiring a nanny. It's either I will hire a nanny. If I'm taking from back home, I have to know their home. Like, I have the traceability where I can, in case of an issue, I can go back. But sometimes in Nairobi, there are people, I don't like taking nannies from bureaus unless I know this person has done a really good background check on the specific person, because I really like traceability and understanding this person comes from this place, just having the overall view of the same. So even if when it comes to agencies, at least you can go to bureaus or agencies where they've trained these nannies, and sometimes they're trained to lie a bit, but you can always see in between the lies they have. So you can look for people, or someone who has had a good experience with them, and you can get them from there, because you also need to look at the reviews and all that, depending on where you're getting. So, and I know most moms don't do this, but I really always, when it comes to safety of a child, it's good to have CCTV cameras. I have CCTV everywhere in my house. Wherever you step, I will have a CCTV camera there. And I don't care about your privacy or whatever. And this is something I will tell you before. There's CCTV everywhere in my house. And it's not to monitor your work. When I come home, I will see if the work has been done or not. But this is for my child, the safety of my child, not to monitor your work. And I let them know that. So that one I do unapologetically, because I have had bad experiences with nannies, and that is one thing I do, because I have to see how because I've had a nanny who actually was pinching and pushing my child away, and though your child would give you the signs, but sometimes it takes you a minute as a parent to actually get to understand. And sometimes you get good nannies, sometimes you get bad nannies. So if you have good nannies and you feel like you need to appreciate them, there's so many ways you can be able to appreciate them, either verbally by thanking them for the good work they're doing. There are those who you will talk to, and you can correlate a lot. But one thing one key thing that I'm a person who doesn't speak much, and I've had a nanny who actually said she was leaving my house because I don't talk to her. But I sit and I wonder, was I supposed to sit down and build stories with her, or was she supposed to do her job? So I tell a nanny, I don't talk much in my house, but I need my work done. I tell you ABCD. Actually, I have like a table with routines on what we're supposed to eat on the day, and also activities we're going to do. Either it's Monday is the kitchen, maybe Tuesday is the bedrooms, washing, and all that. It's actually written down. I have rules, by the way. And I was just telling someone that I'm adding other rules because I think these people, I think they need structure. And if you don't have structure, they become a bit of a nuisance. So I have the rules in my house. It's just a bit on the side. It's one table with everything: the food, the rules, and the requirements. What time to wake up? What time to wake up? What time to sleep? What time my child has to do this and all that. It's clearly written there. But I'm going to add some more because of the experience I had. And I know I say I don't even give Wi-Fi to them, and people are shocked because I've previously had a nanny. Like, every nanny has shaped who I am today. I had a nanny that in a 24-hour day, fine, we sleep from 8 p.m. They can be allowed to go to sleep at 8 p.m. But between the morning when my child wakes up and when I come back home at like 5 p.m., you'll find that when I was looking at the CCTV camera, in 8 hours, my nanny was with my child for 30 minutes. And the other time she was on her phone in the bedroom. So I feel like every nanny has shaped me who I am. So the ones that come are going to get different rules because based on the experience the previous one had, which is a bit unfortunate. And nowadays I don't even have a relaxity on the rules. I am strict like that and I move like that. And it's good to ask a lot of questions to your nannies. It's good to ask these questions because we need to understand the person we have in our home. And this person in the home, does she have a home she can go to? You need to understand that aspect of it. You can ask about their life. Nowadays, they tend to lie a lot. And you find if someone has a series of lies, and I feel like the story is not adding up, actually, I usually fire you. If you break a rule, I fire you. But then nowadays, I'm not even. I am okay having a nanny even for 2 weeks, 1 week, 2 days, whatever. How many days? Even the same day, I can fire the person because I feel like you need to fire until you get the person that you want. And asking these questions will tell you if this person is patient enough. And if they're not patient enough to answer all these questions, they won't be patient enough with your child, unfortunately. So you need to understand their core background and all these things before you bring them to your house. So you have to do the credibility for yourself so that you can be able to get someone. And you might even ask all these questions and still get a wrong one, which is still okay. You just give yourself grace because you can't read a human, and you can't read a human really 100%. And you can't know their story, from where they're coming from and all that. And I know also bureaus give them stories to tell you, which is it's a bit unfortunate. So you can ask the questions, know more about your nanny, and decide whether or not this person actually fits the profile for you. So thank you so much for being with me. And as always, if this is a content that you like, you've loved, you can like, subscribe, share to so many people, as many as possible, for them who will benefit from this kind of content. And thank you so much.